with the Fort Lee Bridgemen warming up on the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex field. Tommy Aquilina saying good morning. Just a few minutes after 11 here on a gorgeous, if not a little warm, Saturday afternoon. You are watching round one of the Bergen County Baseball Tournament. A couple public high schools going at it today in a tournament, or what we might even call postseason baseball game. Again, welcoming you to Fort Lee, New Jersey. The Bridgemen of Fort Lee will be hosting the Bears of Bergenfield momentarily. Fort Lee, the home team, so they take the field first, wearing their slick, maybe warm today, but black uniforms with orange accenting. We're underway as the first pitch of the game is a called strike. This is Gabriel Garcia, one of the top pitchers for Pete Kraljich's Bridgemen this year, making the start in the Bergen County tournament game. Working quickly, dealing outside, it's 1-1. Bergenfield wearing their road reds. This one is grounded past a diving Stephen Kim and into right field. That's a base hit. So we are, in fact, underway here. David Almonte with a leadoff single for the Bergenfield Bears. Garcia getting the sign. He is ready to deal with one on and nobody out. That's outside. Luke Senator, one of the better throwing catchers in the league, going to try to control the running game. We have a bunt attempt here. Luke Senator pounces on it and throws the runner out at first base. That is the pitcher, Andrew Suero, dropping a bunt, so he helps himself out. That's going to be not an actual hit, but a sacrifice hit. Score at 2-3. And the Bears have their number 3 hitter up with a runner on base. That's the the right fielder, number 7, Josh Herr, and a second straight left-handed batter in the Bergenfield lineup. Herr takes outside. Gabriel Garcia checks the runner at second base and deals upstairs. Both of these teams played yesterday. For both of them, it was a non-divisional regular season game. Obviously, a much more important one today, as this one is tapped at the plate. That's a foul ball. 1-1 the count. Almonte, Suero, and Herr. And then the cleanup hitter and designated hitter is Velez. This one is popped up in the infield. Should be an infield fly, and Chris Kim will handle it for the Bridgemen at shortstop. This is Xander Velez, number 8, a right-handed batter, hitting in the cleanup spot. A righty, a couple lefties, and then a righty, and Velez swings and misses at a pitch that is low. 0-1 the count. Another swing and a miss. Senator throws not to second base to check on the runner. Chris Kim covered. He threw to the second baseman, Stephen Kim. An alignment that Pete Kraljik has gone with a lot this year. Luke Senator behind the plate, Nico Sango at first base, Stephen Kim and Chris Kim up the middle, and Jack Dorcom at third base. Garcia's 0-2 pitch is also low. Velez holds off on this one. Runner going, pitches high. Senator does not bother with a throw. It is a stolen base for Almonte, and he finds himself on third base. It'll be a 1-2 count on the Bergenfield cleanup hitter. A hit will give them an early lead, and this is a ground ball to short. Chris Kim backhands, throws to first, in time, got Velez by about a step, and the Fort Lee Bridgemen will look to take an early lead here in this historic Bergen County tournament game in the bottom of the first inning. You are getting a look right now at the home plate umpire and the battery for the Bergenfield Bears. It is going to be Andrew Suero on the mound, a pitcher wearing a single-digit number, but he's got the stirrups on, which I do love. It's going to be Suero on the mound for Chad Williams's Bergenfield Bears. Behind the plate, you see Tristan Rosario, and then in the infield, third to first, it's going to be Shepard Placencia, Almonte, and then Esri Shepard Placencia and Stephen Critelli. That's third to first. And then in the outfield, left to right, it's going to be Jeremy Duran, Aiden Roldan, Josh Herr. Third baseman Shepard Placencia getting pinch hit for by Velez. We just watched him ground out to end the top of the first inning. A scoreless first inning for Gabriel Garcia, who came into today leading Bridgman pitchers in strikeouts. Has given up the most hits among all of the Fort Lee pitchers. He's also thrown the second most innings, and he is one of 4 pitchers with multiple wins this year. 2 wins for Gabriel Garcia, 2 for Ethan Rybalski, 3 for Bradley Lee, and then 4 for Jacob Greenberg. We might wind up seeing Greenberg later. For now, it is the Bergenfield pitcher, Suero, just about ready to go. And his first pitch of the morning is lofted into fairly deep center field. Oh, that ball is continuing to carry. That's going to be a base hit. Center fielder loses his hat. Fort Lee Bridgman have the leadoff runner on. That is a leadoff double for Stephen Kim. Fort Lee middle infielder has been one of their better hitters this year. They've had a lot of good hitters. Stephen Kim, Luke Senator, Christopher Kim, 1, 2, 3 this inning for the Bridgemen. All 3 of them are having great seasons, and then Jacob Greenberg is the cleanup batter today for Pete Kraljic. Stephen Kim is on second base, but the Bergenfield leadoff runner also reached. They wasted the opportunity. Fort Lee wasting no time. First pitch swinging again. This is also to center field, much more shallow center field. Once again, Roldan loses his hat. That might happen a lot today, and Luke Senator has flied out. Score that F8. Chris Kim will be the batter. with a runner on second base, as the Fort Lee runner did not advance. Stephen Kim, Luke Senator, and Chris Kim all hitting over 400 on the season for the Bridgemen. Here's Chris Kim with a runner in scoring position and one away. He takes a little outside. 3 pitches into the game, a runner on second and one away already, and a 1-0 count on the Fort Lee shortstop. Lined up the middle, that's a base hit. Stephen Kim had to back up so he didn't get hit by it. Ball gets by the center fielder. Stephen Kim will score. Chris Kim also taking advantage, rounding second. He will head to third. That is going to be a single for Chris Kim, and then an error on the center fielder, an E8. That will allow Chris Kim to go from first all the way to third. Really, I wouldn't give Kim the RBI there. That's really an error, allowing a run to score and Chris Kim to advance 2 bases. Either way, the Bridgemen have the lead. An early 1-0 lead for Fort Lee here in round 1 of the Bergen County tournament. So another runner in scoring position for the Bridgemen. Man on third, 1 out. Chad Williams, a sense of urgency early on. He brings the infield in. Stephen Kim with a double, Chris Kim with a single, a score, and an advance from first to third on an E8, and the Bridgemen are set up quite nicely. Fort Lee, 11-5 on the season, 5-1 in division. They are in first place in the Big North American, as that pitch is swung on and missed by the Fort Lee right fielder, Jacob Greenberg. Bergenfield is 4-4 in division, 9-8 overall. Called strike 3. Greenberg did not love the call. Looks like Suero clipped the inside corner. A backwards K for the Bergenfield starter. The Bears infield can back up a little bit. Still a runner on third. 2 outs now for Jack Dorcom. He's played third base. He's done some pitching for the Bridgemen. He actually pitched yesterday. Today he's manning the hot corner, and he swings and misses at that first pitch, 0-1 count. Would be a pretty good job for Suero, given that the leadoff man reached and an error has been committed behind him, if he only allowed 1 run here. Tapped, foul. Quickly an 0-2 count on Jack Dorcom. Fort Lee has outscored opponents by 50 this year. Now they've 51. They've now scored 138 runs on the season. This is their 17th game and their first tournament game. Of course, we've still got the NJSIAA tournament later on. But Fort Lee invited to the Bergen County tournament this year, hosting a game, and this one is lined. Fair ball. Down the left field line, RBI single for Jack Dorcom with 2 outs. That's huge. Doubles the lead, and it's a 2-out run-scoring hit. Those are always backbreakers. Chris Kim scores, and it's 2-0 Fort Lee. And that'll bring up Senator. Not Luke, he's already batted. It's his younger brother, the Fort Lee left fielder, CJ Senator. Hitting in the 6th spot, he takes outside. A 1-0 count with Dorcom on first base. The younger Senator brother takes low. That pitch momentarily gets away from Rosario, and Dorcom takes advantage. That's a wild pitch, allowing him to advance to second base. Another runner in scoring position for Fort Lee. And Dorcom does have speed. He leads the team with 10 stolen bases. Now he's in scoring position. That pitch drops below the strike zone before reaching the plate. It's 3-0, and Rosario asks the umpire if he can chat with his pitcher. You don't want things to come unglued early in this one. Obviously, momentum and every run, very important. So Suero will regroup down in the count 3-0. And he deals low. It's a 4-pitch walk to C.J. Senator, and there are now runners on first and second with 2 outs for the Bridgemen. This is a team that will take their walks. C.J. Senator has now walked 8 times on the season, and that'll bring up the Fort Lee 7 batter, Nico Sango, who also wears number 7. Playing first base today, Sango takes a strike, down in the count 0-1. Suero deals, a little bit high. Still working quickly here, and Suero's 1-1 is up and in. 2-1 count on Sango. Again, 2 outs, 2 on. Already a 2-0 lead for Fort Lee here in the first inning of this Bergen County tournament game. Not quite a half hour past 11. That is a called strike. So the count levels off at 2-2. Big pitch here for Suero. That pitch was swung on and tipped into the glove, so now it is a 2-2 count. Must have been 2-1 before. So a 2-2 count now, 2 on, 2 outs. Runners going. That pitch is drilled foul. Not even really down the left field line. That went past the fence and past everything. Might be on the street right now. Speed on the bases for the Bridgemen. Dorcom and C.J. Senator, 16 combined stolen bases this year. An extra base hit is probably 2 runs. This one is lofted into left field. It's a fair ball, not that deep, and the play is made by Jeremy Duran. So overall, could have been worse for the Bergenfield Bears, but a great start to this one for Fort Lee. Gabe Garcia gets out of a jam in the top of the first, and then a 2-run bottom of the first for the Bridgemen. Fort Lee 2, Bergenfield 0 as we head to the second inning of play. Tommy Aquilina, thanking you for joining us on a Saturday morning. Why wouldn't you want to? Huge game for both of these schools, but especially for Fort Lee. This is their first time hosting a Bergen County tournament game. Head coach Peter Kraljic really having his 2 best and most successful seasons with the team between last year, 2024, and this year, the 2024-25 school year. Gabe Garcia pitching with a lead now and dealing a called strike to Tristan Rosario, the Bergenfield catcher. Bergenfield 9-8 on the year on the road in this county tournament game, as that's also a called strike. Fort Lee hosting at 11-5. They're in first place in their division and hosting a Bergen County tournament game for the first time. That pitch is low, so it's a 1-2 count on Rosario. Both teams were in both the Bergen County tournament and the NJSIAA tournament last year, as this one is lined hard into left field for a base hit. Leadoff single for Rosario. Bergenfield went 14-12 last year. That included a win against Fort Lee on May 13th. Bergenfield lost in the first round of the NJSIAA tournament, and they also lost in the first round of the Bergen County Invitational Tournament. A 2-1 loss to Riverdale in this tournament last year, and in the NJSIAA tourney at the very end of the year, a 10-3 loss to Old Tapan. That pitch is high to the second baseman, number 6, Shepard Placencia. Swing and a miss, so now a 1-1 count with a runner on first. As for Fort Lee, they lost in the preliminary round of the Bergen County tournament last year. They also lost in the NJSIAA tournament in the first round. Both losses were at Ramapo. That pitch is fouled off, so it's a 1-2 count on Shepard Placencia. So a couple shutout losses in the tournaments last year at Ramapo. This year, Fort Lee hosts the first round of the Bergen County tournament, and they draw Bergenfield. These teams have not played this year. Just missed. Maybe a bit outside. That's what the umpire says. And we have ourselves a 2-2 count. And now we have a full count. Garcia walks around the mound. It is very warm out. Also, obviously, a lot of pressure in this game. Not feeling it there. Swing and a miss by Shepard Placencia. That's the first strikeout of the day for Gabe Garcia. Garcia came into this one 2-1 with a 3.55 ERA. That's on a 7-inning scale because high school baseball games are normally 7 innings as opposed to 9. So basically, he's given up an earned run every other inning. Now 31 strikeouts on the season to lead the Bridgemen. And he has an 0-1 count on Duran, who lofts this one into shallow center field. It does make the outfield grass. Play is handled by the Fort Lee second baseman, Stephen Kim. A pop-out for Duran on the first pitch. And just like that, there are 2 away with 1 on. Now for Stephen Critelli. Number 11, and the Bergenfield first baseman. That's a little outside. Home plate umpire does not appear to give much on the outside part of the plate, at least not to right-handed batters. That one's also outside, so it is a 2-0 count on Critelli. Batting 8th today for the Bears, and then Aiden Roldan is on deck. That's a foul ball, and a 2-1 count. Bergenfield wearing Bergenfield across their chest. That's a black stripe across their red shirt. Black, red, and gray, their colors as Critelli takes upstairs. Shot into center field. Marcus Lee backs up, leaps, and makes the play. He came on, then realized the ball was hit a bit harder than he realized. Marcus Lee still had enough hops and was quick enough to get up there and make the play. Put a little star next to that one if you want to. For the Fort Lee center fielder, Gabriel Garcia is through 2 scoreless innings. We'll head to the bottom of the second inning, and the Bridgemen will look to expand their 2-run lead. Back at the Sugarman Sport Complex here in Fort Lee, New Jersey. I'm Tommy Aquilina, and you're watching the Fort Lee Bridgemen currently lead the Bergenfield Bears 2-0. We are moving right along. Just a little after 11:30. Game started a few minutes after 11, already in the bottom of the second inning. Black uniforms with orange numbering and lettering for the Fort Lee Bridgemen. It is hot out today. I'm wearing a black shirt myself. Might have been a little bit of a mistake on my part. The Bridgemen do look good, though. What do they say? Look good, play good? Fort Lee leads 2-0 as that pitch is high to Jeremiah Marrero. Already at the 8th batter in the Bridgemen order, and he shoots this one into left. Play is made by Duran, and there's one away. Marrero, now Marcus Lee, and then back to the top of the order with Stephen Kim, and if anybody gets on, Luke Senator. Marcus Lee coming on for that fly ball to end last inning. Realized the ball was a bit higher up there than he thought, but was able to backtrack and make a nice play to end the inning. On one hop, this is to short. Shepard Placencia throws out Lee, and there are quickly 2 away. Lee, one of 4 regular Bridgeman batters who came into this one, hitting over 400. Chris Kim, Stephen Kim, Lee, and Luke Senator, but now Lee is 0 for 1. Stephen Kim is 1 for 1, back up there for a second plate appearance here in the second inning, and he takes low. Been one of the best players overall this year, offensively and defensively for the Bridgemen. Usually plays second base, also plays some shortstop for Pete Kraljic. Doubled and scored in the first inning. Grounds this one foul here. Coming into this one, again, just the 17th game of the year for the Bridgemen, Stephen Kim was hitting .472. That average has now gone up. A little bit of a weak hack at that one, and it's 1-2. Kim came into this one leading the team in hits, singles, triples, walks, and runs. Now 24 runs scored on the year. Pretty much everything you'd want in a leadoff batter. He's also got speed. Suero deals, swing and a miss. So he recovers from a rocky first inning, and we will go to the third. Fort Lee still leading this one 2-0. Want to give a shout out to our proud Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics sponsors. They are among the people who make these streams happen. Thank you to everyone who does so. And thank you to you for tuning in. Obviously, the viewers are the most important thing. Hope you're enjoying this one on a Saturday morning. This one is grounded to third, stopped by Dorcom. He handles and throws to first. Pretty good throw, not in time. Good try by Dorcom, but it will be a leadoff single for Aiden Roldan. And so we're back to the top of the Bears order. Roldan with an infield single. Now it is Almonte, and then it'll be the pitcher Suero. Gabriel Garcia out there for a third inning of work as he gets the start here in Fort Lee's first ever home Bergen County tournament game. Pitch is a little low, spit on by Almonte. He led off the game with a single. He would steal third base, but not go any further than that. Still 2-0 Fort Lee, as that pitch is high. Fort Lee is run more on their offense. Bergenfield is more of a pitching and defense team. So obviously they want to keep it here at 2-0, if not try to shrink that deficit. The Bears have played 17 games this year, one more than Fort Lee, and they've scored 99 runs. That's not a lot, but they have outscored opponents by 30 coming into today, as that's a called strike on Almonte. He thought maybe he could work his way on. He cannot, but it is a 3-1 count. Popped up. Is it playable? Senator can't get there. It's CJ Senator in left for Pete Kraljic. Already mentioned Marcus Lee in center, and then it's Greenberg in right. Again, we might see Greenberg take the mound at some point today. My guess is that Pete Kraljic would want to save Greenberg, obviously Garcia, and Paul Bonilla for this one. None of them pitched yesterday. Grounded up the middle, that's a base hit. Aided by the fact that it hit the mound, Almonte picks up a single. He's 2 for 2, and Bergenfield has 2 on with nobody out. So that'll bring up Andrew Suero. He's a right-handed thrower, but a left-handed batter. Dropped a sacrifice hit in the first inning, but that was when Bergenfield was trying to take the lead. They trail here. You have your 3-hitter coming up. A bunt here could definitely make sense as time is called. Fort Lee sort of half expecting the bunt here. Let's see if they have a wheel play in motion. Not really. Bunt is dropped. Garcia's on it. He will take the easy out at first base. That is a second sack bunt for Suero, and now 2 in scoring position for the Bears. So now it's Josh Herr. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it off. Herr, another left-handed batter. 0 for 1. And a great opportunity here for the Bears. They trail by 2, but they have 2 runners in scoring position. The Fort Lee defense is playing straight up in the infield. They will trade a run for an out here. Again, the Fort Lee offense a lot more high-powered than that of Bergenfield. Outside. 1-2 count, 1 out. 2 runners in scoring position in a 2-run game, and this one is grounded hard to first base. Diving stop by Sango. From the seat of his pants. Throws the runner out. Oh, wow, what a play by Nico Sango. Saved a run, picked up an out. 1 run does score, and Almonte advances to third, but we would be tied if not for the heroics there of Sango. Also give a shout out to Garcia. He raced over to first base and picks up the put out on that play. Deals a strike here. So it's 2-1 now, 2 outs, runner on third. Score that 3-1, give her an RBI. And that was Roldan scoring. It's Almonte on third. It's Velez at the dish. And Velez lines this one into left field for a base hit. We are tied at 2. Roldan and Almonte with singles. A sac bunt moved them over. Great play by Sango, but it is an RBI ground out for her. And now Velez picks up an RBI single. We are tied at 2. 2 outs, runner on first base for the Bears. And Tristan Rosario at the dish. Garcia checks on the runner. Now he deals low. Good stop there by Luke Senator. Rosario gets the sign from his third base coach. Bergenfield now looking to take their first lead of the day. Grounded to third. Dorcom goes the short way, score that 5-4, and will go to the bottom of the third inning. Fort Lee scores 2 in the first. Bergenfield gets 2 in the third, and we are knotted up at a couple runs apiece. Tommy Aquilina tapping back in here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Fort Lee now tied with Bergenfield, 2-2 in the bottom of the third. And with new life, Suero gets to work. First pitch is grounded to third. Not a great throw. Runner safe. That is going to be an E5 on Shepard Placencia. That will allow Luke Senator to reach. NJ.com has been really good with the statistics this year, certainly for the Fort Lee squad. I guess we'll see how they score that. For me, I would say that's an E5 right there. So that would make Senator 0 for 1, and yet he's standing at first base. That's all that matters to the Bridgeman. Now it's Chris Kim. He singled, advanced on an error himself, and scored a run. Now the Fort Lee 3-batter has a runner on as the Bridgeman will look to retake the lead. That pitch is low. The righty deals upstairs. 3-0 count now on Chris Kim. Luke Senator controls the running game very well for the Bridgeman. Also has speed himself. 7 stolen bases on the year. Also tied for the team lead with 1 triple. Probably not going to go here on a 3-0 pitch. Not going. And we do have a called strike there. Looks like the umpire's giving the inside part of the plate to pitchers against right-handed batters. Not so much a fan of the outside strike call. On 3-1, Chris Kim sends this deep to center. 1 hop over the fence. That's a ground rule double for the Fort Lee shortstop. Senator was not in scoring position, so he has to stop at third, but the Bridgemen are set up. Two runners in scoring position, nobody out, as the Bridgemen will look to immediately respond to Bergenfield tying the game. And Chad Williams will bring his infield in again. Jacob Greenberg will get the first crack at things here with a couple runners in scoring position. Swing. And I'm not sure if he tipped that or not, but either way, it's an 0-1 count. Suero would love a strikeout or a pop-up here to get that first out. Drilled. Is that fair? No, it's not. Foul ball down the left field line. So Greenberg in an 0-2 hole. "17 runs batted in this year for Jacob Greenberg, who takes low. Not really a stop, but Rosario kept it close there, and the runners stay put. For Chris Kim, that is now his 6th double of the year, and his 10th extra base hit. Both of those figures lead the team. And Jacob Greenberg has worked the count to 2-2. The Bergenfield right-hander deals. Now it's 3-2. From 0-2 to full. First base is open, but obviously that would be a terrible predicament for Bergenfield to be in. Jack Dorcom awaits on deck. Grounded, past the diving shortstop for a base hit. Senator scores. Kim is being rounded around third. Racing home. He scores. Greenberg goes to second on the throw, and it's a 2-run lead for the Bridgemen again. 2 RBI single for Greenberg. Like I said, he advances on the throw, so another runner in scoring position now for the Bridgemen. Bergenfield infield does back up a little bit here with a runner not on third but on second base. It's Dorcom. Still nobody out. Dorcom takes outside. Jack Dorcom has played a good third base so far this morning. He's also 1 for 1 with an RBI. Now has 9 runs batted in on the season. A 4-2 Bridgman advantage. Their first time hosting a Bergen County tournament game. They're looking to advance to the second round. Called strike at the knees to Dorcom. If you could see past the foul lines, you would see that there is some stirring for both teams. We might see new pitchers soon. This one, chopped, kind of a Baltimore chop to third. Play is made. Good base running by Greenberg. Critelli tried to get him at third, but he does advance on the ground out. So a productive out for Jack Dorcom. Now a runner on third, and still just one away for the Bridgmen. They could not protect their first 2-run lead. Now they're going to try to expand this lead to 3, and it's going to be C.J. Senator. The Fort Lee left fielder walked his first time up. And he's been no stranger to the big hit this season. 14 runs batted in. Looks like everybody's ready to go now. And Suero deals. Lined into left field for a base hit. The Bridgmen have that 3-run lead. It's an RBI single for C.J. Senator. It's a run scored for Greenberg. 5-2 Bridgmen. The pitcher warming up for Bergenfield is probably going to do so with a bit more urgency now. Runner going, throw to second, throw into the outfield. Senator will advance to third on the E2, plus he gets a stolen base. And another runner at third base now for the Bridgmen. So if you give the third baseman an error on the play that allowed Luke Senator to reach, that would be the second error committed this inning by Bergenfield, not helping themselves out. This one, sent into right field. Play is made. Runner tags. Runner scores. That's a sacrifice fly for Nico Sango, and it's now a 4-run advantage for the Bridgmen. Speed really does kill. Senator stealing on the first pitch, and then the throw into the outfield allowed him to go to third, and then on the very next pitch he scores. Bases finally empty, but 4 runs in this inning for the Bridgmen, a 6-2 advantage as Marrero takes strike 1. Now he takes ball 1. Marrero, the designated hitter today for Pete Kraljic's squad. Gabe Garcia on the mound. Some Fort Lee pitchers also bat when they pitch. Garcia usually does not. And Marrero takes high. Marrero has also had some big plate appearances this year, so it makes sense that Pete Kraljic would want to get him in there. Marrero takes ball 4 there. In limited playing time, that is now his 5th walk of the season, and more traffic on the bases for the Bridgmen. Meeting on the mound, is this where Chad Williams pulls the plug on Suero? Bergenfield can't really afford for things to get much more out of hand here. Again, less than 100 runs scored on the season. Coming into this one, they have had their successes, but again, that's usually because of their pitching staff. They are coming off a win. Fort Lee actually lost yesterday 11-8 at Demarest. That's a team in the Big North National Division. Similarly, Bergenfield played a team in Fort Lee's division. That was the Dumont Huskies, and they blanked Dumont 9-0. That put Bergenfield back over 500 on the year at 9-8. We do, in fact, have a new pitcher. Suero departs. He went 2 2/3 innings. So Bergenfield won yesterday. They got off to a dreadful start, and now they've won 7 of 8. So they're playing good ball coming into this one. Fort Lee, meanwhile, has lost back-to-back games. They beat Dumont at home, lost to them on the road. That's their only divisional loss this year. And then the loss yesterday against Demarest. So Fort Lee, 11-5 overall now. Looking pretty good so far today. They took a 2-0 lead. They did cough it up, but they've scored 4 runs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. They've chased Suero, and the new pitcher is number 3, Fernando Rodriguez, another right-hander for Chad Williams. For Fernando Rodriguez, there are 2 outs. He will be dealing with the 9th batter in the Bridgman lineup, Marcus Lee, effectively a second leadoff hitter with how well he has performed this year. With his speed and ability to get on base, he is the reason why so many hitters near the top of the Fort Lee order have so many runs batted in. Even leadoff hitter Stephen Kim. He's on deck. Lee against Rodriguez here. Nowhere near the zone. Runner trying to take advantage. He's out. Marrero thought he could advance on a wild pitch. Rosario had other ideas. 1 pitch for Rodriguez, and it's a ball, but he's able to get out of the 3rd. That will be a caught stealing. Rosario gets Marrero, but it is a 4-run lead for the Bridgmen, their largest of the day, as we head to the 4th inning. Tommy Aquilina back here with you for the 4th inning of this Bergen County tournament game. This is round 1. Fort Lee leading Bergenfield 6-2, and a called strike from Gabriel Garcia. That is to the second baseman, Esri Shepherd Placencia. He pops this one up. It'll go to center, and it'll be handled by Marcus Lee. So again, Garcia dealing with his biggest advantage of the day, was given a 2-0 lead. Now he's been given a 6-2 lead. And you do, I mean, he's been working quickly, but yeah, you do want to just fill up the zone, make run. Swing and a miss. Garcia continuing to work quickly. That one is a little upstairs. Duran did not chase. The seventh batter in the Bergenfield lineup. Takes called strike 3. Again, the home plate umpire hasn't given the outside corner much. That one caught the corner. 2 away. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Stephen Critelli. A fly out to center field, his first time up, and a ground out to third base here. What a pick by Nico Sango. Dorcom short hopped it, Sango picked it, and we are rolling right along. We're halfway through 6-2 Fort Lee, as we are just barely into the afternoon now. Here on Saturday, the Bridgemen will look to extend their 4-run advantage in the fourth. Three and a half innings in the books, 3.5 still to play. And in round 1 of the Bergen County tourney, Fort Lee leads Bergenfield 6-2. Marcus Lee still at the plate because he was batting when Jeremiah Marrero was thrown out at second base. New count for Lee. He basically pops this one up, and it is handled. Score that F6 to the shortstop. Little bit of a change defensively. Oh, no, I lied. Almonte still at shortstop for the Bears. That'll send us to the top of the Fort Lee order. It'll be Stephen Kim, a double, a strikeout, and a run scored today, and now a swing and a miss. So that is the first batter that Rodriguez has retired himself as he gets Lee to pop out. This one is tapped. Foul. The final line on Suero, 2 2/3 innings pitched. Again, I have the ball that Luke Senator reached on being an error, so that would be 6 hits allowed for Suero, at least. He gave up 6 runs. Not all of them were earned. He walked 2 and struck out 2. Rodriguez deals low to Stephen Kim. Rodriguez officially now has gone 2/3 of an inning today. Kim hitting for the third time here in the fourth inning, and he chops this one to third. Really nice pick by Shepard Placencia, but then he throws it in the dirt. Critelli couldn't pick it. That's going to be an E5. I think that's the fourth error committed today by Bergenfield in 4 defensive innings. Not exactly what you want when your offense doesn't score a ton of runs. Good pitching for Bergenfield, but their defense has let them down somewhat so far today. They're going to need more from their offense. And to be fair, their offense has been doing better lately. A 9-0 win yesterday. Check swing by Senator. It's an 0-1 count. And before that 9-0 win, Bergenfield split 2 games with division rival Tenafly, a 14-1 win, and then an 8-7 loss. So they've been swinging the bats better of late. Going to try to keep this deficit at 4 and give themselves a chance here. Second umpire agrees with me and says Senator checked his swing there. So it's a 1-1 count. Rodriguez deals, grounded to third. They go the short way. They go to first and cannot complete the double play. Senator reaching on an error last time up. This time, he reaches on a fielder's choice. Kim is erased, and it's now Luke Senator on first base with 2 away, and Senator is going to get pinch run for. Doesn't always, but this time, with 2 outs, he does. Chris Kim is the batter. Rodriguez steps off. I believe that's number 2, Jake Lee, pinch running for Senator as Kim swings and misses. Jake Lee providing plenty of speed for the Bridgemen. 7 stolen bases on the year. Not going. Rosario couldn't hang on to that one, but it is a called strike. Chris Kim is having himself a good offensive day because today's a day that ends in Y. 2 for 2 with a double and 2 runs scored. Pete Kraljick's number 3 batter takes low. Lee is going, and he'll have a stolen base without a throw. Eighth stolen base of the season for Lee. He's now in scoring position. He has a healthy lead, and this pitch is fouled off. Chris Kim a little too quick on that one. Steps back into the batter's box. Big run out on second base. A 5-run lead would be huge here with 3 innings to play. And that's another foul ball. A battle here between Fernando Rodriguez and Chris Kim. Rodriguez, the second pitcher of the day for Bergenfield. He did not pitch yesterday. That's low. It is a 2-2 count on Chris Kim. Sent in the air. Shortstop and left fielder chasing after it. Nobody gets there. Jake Lee flying around the bases with 2 outs. That is an RBI single that dunks in between the shortstop Almonte and the left fielder Duran. A little I got it, you take it type play. And officially, that's going to be an RBI single for Chris Kim. The guy is just incapable of not driving in runs. That'll bring up Greenberg. Low gets away from Rosario. Kim advances. That's a wild pitch. So give Jake Lee a stolen base and a run scored there. For Chris Kim, an RBI today. That gives him 21 on the season. He's already scored twice. Now he's in scoring position with Greenberg hitting and a 7-2 advantage for Fort Lee. Foul ball. Greenberg already has 2 runs batted in today. Rodriguez peeking at the runner and dealing a called strike. 1-2 the count on Greenberg. He struck out looking his first time up and then delivered a 2-run single his last time up. He also came around to score. Now he's facing Rodriguez for the first time. Chris Kim is going. Jacob Greenberg swings and misses. So Rodriguez gives up 1. That might also be an unearned run, and we head to the 5th inning with a 5-run advantage for the Bridgemen. Tommy Aquilina rejoining you as we head to the 5th inning. Fort Lee now with a 5-run advantage on Bergenfield. Gabriel Garcia is still out there. The righty has handled himself well here in a Bergen County tournament game. First pitch swinging. Marcus Lee is there, and 1 pitch, 1 out. That was Roldan, so now we'll head to the top of the Bergenfield order. It'll be David Almonte, the shortstop and leadoff hitter for the Bears. And he takes a strike. Almonte is 2 for 2 with a stolen base and a run scored. The first 4 batters in the Bergenfield lineup have been pretty productive today. The bottom of the order largely has not been. And Gabe Garcia now has a 5-run advantage to work with. In line for the win because he's already gone 4. Trying to get through 5 here. He is down in the count 2-1 to Almonte. Sends this one into left center field. Chasing after it is Senator. He will not get there. Couple bounces. Goes to the fence. Almonte's at second, not stopping. He slides into third with a triple. That will excite the Bergenfield bench and fan base, as they now have a runner in scoring position as they try to claw their way back into this one. Almonte is 3 for 3 with 5 total bases. We now go to a couple left-handed batters. First, it's going to be Suero. Wouldn't really make sense here, but a sac bunt each of his first 2 times up. Takes outside. Infield still back for Fort Lee. At this point, you definitely would trade runs for outs. Not here. Lined into right. Are they going to say he caught it? I don't think they are. Fort Lee actually was prepared to trade a run for an out. Looked like that was going to be a sac fly. Greenberg is saying he caught it and then lost the ball on the transfer, which would mean that Suero should be out. The run scored regardless, and I think that is, in fact, how they're going to score it. That's probably the right call. Officially, it is a sacrifice fly for Suero. He gets an RBI. Almonte scores. Nobody's on base. Again, Greenberg lost it on the transfer from his glove hand to his throwing hand. So a sac fly for Suero. He is 0 for 0 today. Nobody on, 2 outs. A run does score, though, so it's 7-3 now. Almonte has scored 2 of the 3 Bergenfield runs. Suero, a sac bunt, and a sac fly. He is on the hook for the loss right now. Bergenfield would have to tie the game in order for him to get a no decision. Her trying to help make that happen. Stays alive by fouling that pitch off. It's a 1-2 count on Her, who is 0 for 2 with an RBI. Garcia deals. Outside. Exciting things happening here at Fort Lee. The Bridgemen went 5-3 last year. Played in the NJSIAA and Bergen County tournaments. Doing so again this year, and this one is gone. Off the top of the fence and over for a home run. Josh Her, the right fielder and third batter for Bergenfield, has in fact gotten them back in this one. He stays alive, homers, and now the Bears celebrate. Don't look now, but it's a 3-run game. Second RBI of the game for the left-handed batter. I thought he got a good piece of that one. I didn't think the ball would carry like that, and obviously a lucky bounce. But it's a home run for Her. Now 2 for 3 with 2 RBI, and again, it's just a 3-run game. And now it's a 2-0 count on Velez. There's a called strike. Garcia still working with a 3-run lead, and you would still call it a good performance if he were to get through this inning. But with a couple runs here, Bergenfield has gotten back in it. That's low, so it should be a full count now from Garcia to Velez, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI. The Bridgman hurler fouled off. So with 1 out, Almonte tripled. Again, Greenberg lost the ball in right field on the transfer, so then a sac fly drove in Almonte. There were 2 outs and nobody on, but Herr's home run has jolted Bergenfield and made it a 3-run game. And that's a 2-out walk for Velez. Just the first walk handed out today by Garcia. And now the Bridgemen are going to regroup near the mound. 2 outs here in the 5th. 1 on now and a 3-run advantage for the Bridgemen. The main bullets for Kraljic after Garcia would probably be Greenberg and Paul Bonilla. And if my eyes don't deceive me, on the side, it is going to be Bonilla starting to warm up. Nobody's ready right now, though. This is Garcia's inning. And again, he still has a 3-run advantage to work with. Theoretically, Rosario could homer here, and Fort Lee would still have the lead. Still working quickly, and Garcia deals a called strike to the Bears catcher, who is 1 for 2. And now he's down in the count, 0-2. Unsurprisingly, with the weather getting nicer and warmer, the ball has traveled and carried a lot more lately. We've seen a lot more home runs here in late April and now early May. Grounded to third on a couple hops, Dorcom. Not a great throw, but Sango makes a nice play. Comes off the bag, catches and tags Rosario. That is 5-3, and through 5 innings, Fort Lee still maintains a multi-run advantage. They're going to look to get those 2 runs back in the bottom of the 5th. Tommy Aquilina set for the bottom of the 5th inning. About 12:30 Eastern Time, Fort Lee leads Bergenfield 7-4 here in the first round of the Bergen County Tournament. I was rudely interrupted by Josh Herr. Doesn't he know I got a broadcast going on here? No, but seriously, before that, I was mentioning that Fort Lee, exciting times here for the Bridgemen. 5-3 in division last year. Went to the Bergen County tournament and the NJSIAA tournament. Between those two losses and the regular season, 12-14 on the year, 11-5 this year. Chris Kim is retired. I lied, not Chris Kim, Jack Dorcom. It's a flyout to center field for Dorcom. Roldan has committed an error today, but he handled that one. An F8 for Dorcom, and that'll bring up CJ Senator. He is 1 for 1 with an RBI, a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored. And he takes low. Fernando Rodriguez still out there for Chad Williams. Second pitcher for Bergenfield, and he deals, I think up and in was the call from the umpire. 2-0 to Senator. Make it 3-0 despite Rosario's best efforts. Dorcom, who was already retired, then CJ Senator, and then Sango. And Sango will bat with a runner on first. Second walk of the day for CJ Senator. He's been on base all 3 times. And that will bring up the first baseman, Nico Sango. 0 for 1 with a run batted in on a sacrifice fly. Fort Lee has led by as many as 5. They currently lead this one 7-4 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Called strike there from Rodriguez. Mentioned the speed that CJ Senator has, a stolen base already today, 7 on the season, and thinking along with me, Bergenfield throws over. Does he go after that? No, he does not, and Sango is plunked. For a team leading 6th time this year, Nico Sango is hit by a pitch, and the Bridgemen are threatening once more. 2 on, 1 out, heading into the 8th spot in the batting order. And it will be Jeremiah Marrero. 0 for 1 with a walk, also caught stealing. That ended the 3rd inning. This will be a wild pitch that allows both runners to advance. Uh-oh. It's getting late early out here. Fort Lee going to try to separate themselves and Bergenfield. They already lead by 3. 2 runners in scoring position now. And the Bergenfield infield yet again comes in. "2-0 count now on Marrero. Bergenfield has battled back to make it a 3-run game, trying to keep it 7-4. Rodriguez deals, little upstairs. Next inning, the Bears will have their 6, 7, and 8 hitters up. They have 6 outs to work with. There's a called strike. So it's a 3-1 count on Marrero, DHing today for Garcia. Big swing and a miss. And the count has now run full. Big spot in the game here. Obviously a huge difference between the bases being loaded and there being 2 outs and 2 on. Rodriguez steps off. Again, the infield is in. Now that it's a 3-2 count, he would love a strikeout. Doesn't get it on that pitch. Fort Lee looking to improve to 12-5 on the season and advance in the Bergen County tournament. First time ever that the Bridgemen are hosting a Bergen County tournament game. And they lead Bergenfield 7-4. They've never trailed. They've led by as many as 5, and now they have a 3-run lead with the bases loaded. Ball 4 to Marrero. He has more walks than hits this year. Guy finds a way to get on base. And the bases are now loaded for Marcus Lee, another guy who finds ways to get on base. 0 for 2 today, but Marcus Lee having a great season, plays good defense. I believe he's second on the team in stolen bases. He has a walk-off hit from earlier this year. He can bust this one wide open as he takes strike 1. 5 runs batted in on the season for Marcus Lee. Popped up. That is a huge out for Bergenfield. Second baseman, Esdri Shepard Placencia, makes the play. And there are now 2 outs. This is a gigantic spot in this game. The umpires are convening here. Marcus Lee is still hanging out around the plate. I can't really figure why he wouldn't be out here unless it was a catcher's interference. He plays around with Rosario. Looks like it was not a catcher's interference, and it will, in fact, be a pop-out for Marcus Lee. That would have been devastating for Bergenfield. A catcher's interference would have put Lee on, and obviously everybody would have advanced a base, so it would be 8-4 with just 1 out. Instead, there are 2 outs. The bases are loaded, but it's a 3-run advantage. Rodriguez going to try to pull a rabbit out of his hat and get out of this jam. Stephen Kim fouls the first pitch off. 2 outs, bases loaded. Stephen Kim is 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Quickly down in the count, 0-2. Again, Fort Lee has never trailed in this one. Bergenfield's been playing catch-up pretty much all day. It'll be an 0-2 pitch to the Fort Lee second baseman. Chopped to third, foul. Fort Lee led 2-0 after 1 inning. Bergenfield did come back to tie the game. This was a 2-2 affair, but then Fort Lee scored 5 unanswered. Bergenfield continuing to hang around, though. 2 runs last inning. Trying to keep it here. That pitch is low. Great stop by Rosario. Stephen Kim not chasing. And down in the count, 1-2 now. You wouldn't expect him to chase. He came into play today leading the team in walks. Also leading the team in hits. Rodriguez deals. Grounded to third again. Is this a foul ball? Yes, it is. Another 1-2 pitch. Way outside. We'll see what happens with these teams' schedules moving forward in the month of May. Obviously, what happens today will partially dictate that. Fort Lee looking to snap a 2-game losing streak and win their first hosted Bergen County tournament game. Great battle here by Stephen Kim as we've gone from 0-2 to 3-2. Bergenfield is looking for a tournament victory, and they are looking to make it 2 wins in a row against big North American teams. They trail here, though, and a gigantic pitch coming up. Bases loaded and nowhere to put Kim. 2 outs, though. And the pitch is low. Fell down in the count 0-2, fouled off multiple pitches, and Stephen Kim should be proud of that base on balls. Gets an RBI, and it's now 8-4 Bridgman. It was CJ Senator who scored, and now it's Luke Senator at the dish. Bases still loaded. On a hop to short. Almonte, where's he going to go? He's going to go to first. Got him. So Almonte makes the play, keeps Bergenfield in it, but an RBI walk by Stephen Kim does extend the Bridgman lead. It's 8-4. We'll go to the 6th inning, and it looks like it will be Gabriel Garcia going out there for a 6th inning of work, now working with a 4-run advantage. I'll be right back. Not the most exciting rally ever in the bottom of the 5th inning. A 1-out walk for CJ Senator. Nico Sango was hit by a pitch. Hard-fought walk by Jeremiah Marrero. And then with 2 outs, a great plate appearance by Stephen Kim. And guess what? Another walk. Fort Lee scored without a hit last inning. They lead 8-4. Pete Kraljic is sticking with his starter. And his starter, Gabe Garcia, deals a strike to Esdri Shepard Plasencia. Wearing number 6, playing second base, and taking strike 2. Shepard Plasencia is 0 for 2 today. And one of 2 strikeout victims. Didn't get him on that pitch, and he didn't chase, so it's a 1-2 count from Garcia. Continuing to work at rapid-fire pace Garcia deals outside. So it's a 2-2 count now. Garcia with 2 strikeouts. 4 runs allowed in 5 innings. Trying to get the Bridgeman to the 7th. That pitch is fouled off as Shepard Placencia is battling. 6th spot in the order for Chad Williams' team. And then it'll be Duran and Critelli. Called strike 3. Second time today that Shepard Placencia has gone down on strikes, and there's 1 away. And so here is Duran, the other strikeout victim for Bergenfield. He's 0 for 2 as he takes inside there. Ball 1. Coming into play today, Garcia had 30 strikeouts to lead the team. That was in 21 2/3 innings. He's fanned 3 today, down in the count 2-0 to Duran, and now 3-0. A little bit of chin music there. Bergenfield needs base runners. You would expect Duran to be taking all the way here, and he is. It's a 4-pitch walk with 1 away. Pete Kraljic backing up Dorcom at third base. He is still sticking with Garcia, dealing to Critelli with 1 on and 1 out. There's a strike. Critelli is 0 for 2. Garcia dealing from the stretch, and he deals high. Runner not going. Definitely don't want to make any outs on the bases at this juncture. I think the ump called that one a little high. I think it's actually a 2-1 count. And that one's high, so now it should be a 3-1 count on Critelli. The Bergenfield first baseman fouls that pitch off. So it'll be a payoff pitch with 1 on and 1 out, and the number 9 batter awaiting on deck. That's Roldan. He is 1 for 2 with a run scored. Garcia looking to go 6 full innings and really help out the Fort Lee pitching staff, as there's another foul ball. That pitch is a ball. Back-to-back walks for Garcia, and there are now 2 on with 1 away. That'll bring up the aforementioned Roldan. And this one is sent into left field. Deep left field. 1 hop over the fence. Ground rule double for Roldan. It's 8-5 with 2 runners in scoring position. Ball going over the fence helps out Fort Lee. Roldan probably would have scored on that. Instead, he's at second with a double. 2 runners in scoring position with 1 away as Kraljic now takes out his starter. Garcia will give way to Paul Bonilla. And we'll be right back. Bonilla, with 1 away, will pitch to the batter representing the game-tying run. It is Paul Bonilla taking the mound for Fort Lee. He's the team barber. He's also the ace reliever for head coach Pete Kraljic. Gabe Garcia and Jacob Greenberg do a lot of starting. Bonilla is one of his first bullets out of the bullpen. He deals a called strike. Game-tying run is at the plate. That's Almonte, the leadoff batter for Bergenfield. Sends this one into right. Greenberg handles it. Runner tags. Both runners tag, and they both advance. So that is a sacrifice fly for Almonte. He is 3 for 3 with a triple, an RBI now, and 2 runs scored. It's a 2-run game. Once again, the tying run will be at the plate. And there's also a runner on third. That's Roldan. We go to the second spot in the batting order for Bergenfield. It's a 2-run game again. Suero, still on the hook for the loss as the pitcher. He is batting now, ahead in the count 1-0, and he takes low. Suero with a sacrifice hit, and a sacrifice fly. So he does have 1 RBI already today. Lofts this one into shallow left. Who's going to get it? No one's going to get it. Suero has a second RBI, takes a huge turn. He'll go back to first. It is now a 1-run ball game here in Fort Lee. Bergenfield tied the game at 2. Fort Lee answered back. This is as close as Bergenfield has gotten since. It is a 1-run game in the top of the 6th. Game-tying run on base. It's the 3-batter, Her, who is hitting, and Bonilla has to be really careful with him. He's already homered today. Josh Her is 1 for 3 with 2 runs batted in. And working out of the stretch, Bonilla deals a called strike. Haven't gotten too many outside strike calls. We get one there. It's a 1-1 count on Her. Takes a little low. It's a 2-1 count. Obviously, he's got power. He represents the go-ahead run. And Bonilla deals. That's a called strike. Went a little bit further outside for that one than the first strike call. 2-2 count on Her. Runner on first. Bonilla deals. Fouled off. Suero was going on that one. Bonilla gets the sign. He's ready to go. Runner's going again. Ball is chopped to first. Tremendous pick by Sango. Recovers. Beats Her to the bag. So I guess technically not a tremendous pick. He did briefly lose it. Didn't panic. Recovered. Beat the left-handed batter to the bag. Score that 3 unassisted. But we are in for an exciting finish here in Fort Lee. The Bridgemen lead the Bears of Bergenfield 8-7 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex here in Fort Lee, New Jersey. The Bridgemen lead Bergenfield 8-7 here in the first round of the Bergen County Tournament. Bergenfield refuses to go away. They went down 2-0 and tied the game. They were down by as many as 5. They've cut it to 1, 8-7, going into the bottom of the 6th. Fernando Rodriguez still out there. Just the second Bergenfield pitcher. He's already gone 2 1/3 innings. Behind in the count here to Chris Kim, the third batter for the Bridgemen, and he takes upstairs. Obviously, the Bridgemen want to add some insurance runs here, and they have the guys to do that due to hit. Kim, followed by Greenberg, and then Dorcom. Leadoff walks kill, and that is a leadoff walk. A 4-pitch base on balls to Chris Kim. He's now been on base all 4 times today. 3 for 3 with a double, an RBI, a walk now, already scored a couple runs, and here is Jacob Greenberg. They throw over. Let's see if the Bridgemen try to force the issue here. You've got your cleanup hitter up in Greenberg. Kim does have the speed to get in scoring position. Really want at least one insurance run here. They throw over again. Throw gets away. The sloppy play for Bergenfield continues on this now Saturday afternoon. That's an error, either on the pitcher or the first baseman. Either way, it allows Kim to advance. So he doesn't even have to steal, and he's in scoring position. I doubt Greenberg will bunt Kim over here, not even thinking about bunt, and he takes low. Greenberg has struck out twice, but he also has a 2-run single and a run scored. Rodriguez deals. Shot deep into center field. Back, gone! Well, there's 2 insurance runs, courtesy of Jacob Greenberg. A 2-run homer puts the Bridgemen up 10-7. There have been some huge hits this year for the Bridgemen. That's one of the bigger ones. Greenberg's first home run of the year extends the Bridgemen lead to 3. Now 4 runs batted in today for Jacob Greenberg. He is the 3rd Fort Lee batter to hit a home run this year. Chris Kim, who scored on that one, has a team-leading 3, and Luke Senator also has 1. What a hit. That was gigantic. Now Paul Bonilla will have some breathing room in the top of the 7th. And Fort Lee's not done yet. Still nobody out. Here's Jack Dorcom fouling a pitch off. It's 1-1. Your 3-4 batters are in the lineup to produce, and they have. Chris Kim with an RBI and 3 runs scored today. Jacob Greenberg now with a home run and 4 runs batted in. 1 home run, 21 RBI this year for Greenberg, as this one is grounded to 3rd. Dorcom is retired, and there's 1 away. Kim and Greenberg are now tied for the team lead with 21 RBI apiece. 1 today for Kim, 4 for Greenberg. 1 homer and 21 RBI for Greenberg. Chris Kim with 3 home runs and 21 RBI. They're also tied for the team lead with a few other players with 1 triple. And Chris Kim's double today was his team-leading 6th of the year. Some really impressive numbers put up by the Bridgemen, and I mentioned how potent their offense can be. Here's another game where they've put up double-digit runs. They lead 10-7 in the 6th. C.J. Senator flies out to center field. That'll bring up Sengo with 2 out. This is Fort Lee's 17th game of the year. It is now the 8th time that they've scored double-digit runs. Sengo grounds it to short. Almonte throws over to first base. But the big hit has already been delivered. A 2-run home run to center field by Jacob Greenberg. And the Fort Lee Bridgemen are 3 outs away from advancing here in the Bergen County tournament. And it will, in fact, be the barber, Paul Bonilla, showing off his flow today. And he will look to nail this one down. Came into an 8-5 game, 2 runners on. I believe if Bonilla were to finish things off here, it would be a 5-out save for the right-hander. Gabe Garcia is in line for the win. Bonilla did allow both inherited runners to score, but got out of the top of the 6th inning. Final line for Gabriel Garcia as he looks for his 3rd win of the year. 5 1/3 innings pitched. The Bridgemen have not committed an error today, so 7 runs allowed for Garcia. All of them are earned on 8 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Garcia now with a team-leading 33 strikeouts in 27 innings pitched, and he now also leads the team in innings. Paul Bonilla came into this one with the lowest ERA on the team, 2.05. Lowered that a little bit. The 2 runners he allowed were the responsibility of Garcia. Again, Bonilla looking to nail down a 5-out save. Fort Lee invited to the Bergen County tournament last year. This year they get to host a game for the first time ever, and they're looking for the win. Bergenfield should really be taking a strike. There, it is a ball that's taken by Velez. Xander Velez, the DH today. And he takes another pitch low. 2-0 count from Bonilla. It is still just a 3-run game, but that 2-run home run by Greenberg to give the Bridgemen some breathing room was huge. Now you can trade outs for runs. You don't have to worry about getting every batter out. There's wiggle room for Bonilla, who is down in the count now 3-1 to Xander Velez. He is 1 for 2 with a walk and an RBI. Now he has 2 walks. Not how Bonilla wanted to start the 7th inning here. He walks the Bergenfield cleanup batter. And now it should be Tristan Rosario. It's also going to be a new Fort Lee pitcher. Pete Kraljic comes out quickly, takes out Bonilla. The runner on first is his responsibility. And it looks like Kraljic will turn to Chris Kim. His shortstop, star batter, hasn't done a ton of pitching this year. I believe only 2 or 3 pitching appearances. I think only 2 for Chris Kim. He will look to close this one out. And it would be a save for Chris Kim. Just a 3-run advantage with 1 on here in the 7th inning. Obviously, Kim not at shortstop anymore, so Kraljic will move Stephen Kim over from second to short, and Jeremiah Marrero, he was already DHing today. Now he takes over at second base. Chris Kim picked up the save on opening day for the Bridgemen. And I believe it was Gabe Garcia who picked up the win in that one. He's only made 1 pitching appearance since then. Chris Kim, 2 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, but also 4 earned runs allowed. So a 14 ERA, that is not much to look at, but he's looking for his 2nd save of the season. He's already contributed plenty offensively, naturally. 3 for 3 with a double, a walk, an RBI, and 3 runs scored. He is wrapping up his warm-up pitches. And Chris Kim will be dealing with the catcher Rosario. Nobody out, 1 on. Rosario is 1 for 3. Then it will be Shepard Placencia, and then Duran, and then after that it would be Critelli. Chris Kim checks on the runner. He will deal with Rosario. First pitch is a called strike. Exciting action right down to the wire today. Pitch is way upstairs, and it's a 1-1 count on Rosario. Tapped. Kim handles it, slips, but recovers. He'll take the easy out at first base. No, they're going to say it was a foul ball. And with that little slip on the turf, you hope Chris Kim is no worse for wear. He'll walk around the mound and regather himself. It'll be a 1-2 pitch to Rosario. Nobody out, 1 on, and a 3-run advantage for the Bridgemen. Bergenfield also lost their first Bergen County tournament game last year. But the Bears did pick up a win in a regular season non-divisional game against Fort Lee. Beat the Bridgemen 10-0 on May 13th last year. So Fort Lee not only looking to make some school history, but also get a little bit of revenge here against the Bears. But that pitch is high. The guys who pitched yesterday for Pete Kraljic were Jack Dorcom, Ethan Rabalski, James Aino, and Bradley Lee. None of them have pitched today. Swing and a miss! Chris Kim now 2 outs away from locking down the round 1 victory for the Bridgemen. Weak hack. Shepard Placencia down in the count 0-1. Fort Lee 2 outs away from getting the win here on the day they host their first ever Bergen County tournament game. They have not trailed, trying to hang on for the win against Bergenfield. Fouled off. Thought maybe the first 3 pitchers for Fort Lee today would be Garcia, Bonilla, and Greenberg. Pete Kraljic is holding Greenberg back. 5 1/3 innings from Garcia. 2/3 of an inning from Bonilla. He departed in the 7th with 1 on and no one out. Chris Kim deals high. Runner doesn't go anywhere. Why would you with Luke Senator behind the plate? Chris Kim from the full windup. Swing and a miss. 2 gone for Bergenfield. 3rd strikeout today for Shepard Placencia. He's 0 for 4, and Bergenfield's last hope is left fielder Jeremy Duran. 0 for 2 with a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored, and he takes strike 1. Fort Lee is 1 out away. You can feel the excitement in the air. They're trying to advance here in the Bergen County tournament. That pitch is low and outside, so it is a 1-1 count. Duran hitting with a runner on first and 2 away. He needs to get on base for Bergenfield to bring the tying run to the plate. Sends this one to right. Right center, fairly deep. Marcus Lee is there, makes the catch, gives a fist pump, and the Fort Lee Bridgemen have made some school history. They host the Bergen County tournament game for the first time ever, and they win the Bergen County tournament game. They beat the Bergenfield Bears 10-7. Chris Kim comes on and dominates to pick up the save. 1-2-3 with a couple strikeouts. Gabe Garcia will get his 3rd win of the season. Chris Kim gets his 2nd save of the year. Fort Lee gets their revenge on Bergenfield. The Bridgemen were not going to be denied today. Suero takes the loss as the Bears fall to 9-9 on the season. They are out of the Bergen County tournament. They lost in the first round last year to Riverdale. They lose in the first round this year to Fort Lee. And for the Bridgemen, their 2-game losing streak is history. They're 12-5, and they will move on in the Bergen County tournament. Want to apologize for the technical difficulties there at the end, but what an exciting end it was. A 2-run home run for Jacob Greenberg in the top of the 7th inning. He had 4 RBI on the day. That made it 10-7, and Fort Lee holds on. The final score is the Bridgemen 10, the Bears of Bergenfield 7. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. I certainly had a good time today. Want to thank our proud Fort Lee Bridgeman Athletics sponsors, as well as everyone who works so hard on these streams. Want to give a shout out to Fort Lee Athletic Director Michael Raftery, the players and coaches for Fort Lee, as they get the win. And stay tuned. They will advance in the Bergen County tournament. Plus, obviously, you still have the NJSIAA tournament coming up later on. Once again, the final score, Fort Lee 10, Bergenfield 7 in round 1 of the Bergen County tournament. I'm Tommy Aquilina saying so long, folks, and we will see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.